All right, now I'm doing a Shakespeare Cafe with Amber, and we're doing a continuation of what I did at Benjamin Franklin's house, outside of his house. The question stands now with Scotland. And what's being asked is not where is it, but where do we stand? Do we defend the defenseless? Do we get in there, or do we just remain spectators when we see something that's wrong? And so, Amber, what are your views about that? I mean, if we see something wrong, should we try to right it? Does it depend? What's your experience?
I don't know if I can speak to Scotland necessarily, but...
You're from?
I'm Irish.
You're Irish?
I'm actually half... I've got a Scottish surname. I'm sure you've heard
Okay.
of Angus. Yeah. So I am part Scottish. But I'm one for always getting involved. However, I did tell you earlier when we were talking about voting, I think I said sometimes I just think, I go the other way, I oscillate and I think, oh, for God's sake, why? You know? And I kind of wash my hands of it. But that's primarily because I don't see voting as having any kind of outcome where anything is changed. So getting involved as a personal responsibility, yes. Getting involved in terms of voting, 50-50 with that one. So.
Because voting doesn't necessarily translate into action.
No, that's exactly what I mean.
But how about your work with animals? How did that start?
It wasn't a clear cut moment, but it's more like, I guess when I look at animals, I can see my own vulnerability in them, and maybe I superimpose some of my own situations where I've been vulnerable and have not been helped, and thought this is what should be done because this is what I would want it to be. I guess that's almost a bit biblical, you know, right. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So how can you expect other people to help you in situations of vulnerability if you're not prepared to do the same?
But in the case of animals, you didn't do it out of the expectation.
No, but that doesn't make you a good person. If you're expecting reciprocity, if you're expecting something back, that doesn't make you a good person.
But that was the thing that really, you felt like, I can't just be a spectator. If I see something helpless, sentient being suffering, that you got to do something.
No, absolutely. I can't. There's almost like a compulsion in me now that I can't be a spectator for that. It's just, I don't think it started as that, but it's worked its way up to that, where if I see, and it doesn't just extend to animals, it extends to children as well. I feel very passionately about that I just can't remain a spectator. And some of that might be anthropomorphizing, but some of it is just because how are we ever going to read something better if we're not prepared to?
So here's my two things.
Okay.
One is that I believe we should radically lower the voting age so that children and youth can vote on issues that impact them. So like they should be able to vote on school boards, which determines educational materials, school safety, those types of things.
So county-wide voting as opposed to or statewide.
Even more so. Like in Brazil, even for federal elections is 16. You know, it's arbitrary. I always get these things about, oh, they're too young, they're too impressionable. You know who the most impressionable people are? Adults. Yeah, adults. Okay. And so the other thing is, I believe there should be a United States seat for the stateless. There's about 13 million minimum stateless people trying to find a country where they can live safely. They have no representation anywhere. And I believe there should be a United Nations seat specifically for the stateless people.
That's very interesting. I think I have to agree with that. I don't think I've ever talked to somebody on an issue regarding stateless people having...
Well, here's how it happened. I was on a ship, and there was in the cargo section, all these people huddled there, shivering, and they were caught. They were trying to gain admittance into another country. And so they're in this forever no man's land because they're caught in the crosshairs of conflicts that they didn't commit, that they, you know, the powers that be created, and they have to flee to keep their families safe. You know?
Where were these people from that you encountered? Okay, right.
So it was in the Aegean.
Okay.
Can I say that? Okay, yeah. So you can get a sense of where it was.
I mean, I don't really have anything controversial to say to that because I agree with it.
So my thing is, though, is I can't be a spectator. It's not like I couldn't intervene then because the hulking security people would have just handcuffed me. But no, what I can do, it got me the idea of creating a UN seat for the stateless. So that's what I'm trying to do, and I won't give up.
How do you even propose something like that? Like,
Well, I already did.
Oh, you did?
To
Okay.
one of the people who has the ear of the Secretary General of the United Nations.
And what feedback?
I'm getting there, I
Okay.
think. Or at least let me put it this way. I won't give up.
Okay.
I don't know how to do it. It's not in my DNA when something really matters to me. And I just think of these people, children and adults, and I have a couple photos that are heart-rending.
And
Just, and
go
it's
on.
there before the grace of God go on.
These people are not stateless like for financial reasons because
They're
they
fleeing
can't apply
conflicts
for.
to
Okay,
keep
yeah.
their families safe.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
could be drug cartels. It could be wars. It could be people caught in Gaza. It could be people caught in ever so many places where they have to flee. The U.S.'s war against drugs creates all these communities that are constantly in the crosshairs of battles between law and military and innocent civilians, and so they flee just to keep their families safe, and they become stateless. They're just looking for a place where they can
And
live.
they can't return to where they,
No,
where
it's
they
not
were
safe.
born. Yeah.
So,
Yes. Well, I agree with that. I really have nothing to say to that because I wholeheartedly agree.
but it's the same. I wasn't patting myself on the back. It was just that we all find our thing where we decide we can't be spectators on this specific thing.
and that's
That's my
one of your.
But it's also animals. If I see a cat being a dog, street animal, in some communities you can see their bones. They're not being fed.
Where does that line? Because here's me going to use the Socratic method on you for a second. Where does that line get drawn for you? Because a lot of people will say, cats and dogs, but then that
Exactly.
they don't welcome into their circle of compassion.
Well, here's the
farm
thing.
animals.
Right.
Or,
It's in a world in which we have to turn blinders to so many things, we have to decide where we're going to devote our passions and commitments, because we can't do everything. If we try to do everything, it dilutes what we can. So these are the things, if I ask myself, what am I most passionate about? These are those things. Everybody, I would like to think there's something that if they see a wrong in some way, suddenly they'll have a call to conscience or call to service or something.
I guess there's the things that you're passionate about, but there's also, have you heard of effective altruism? Do you know this?
Of what?
Effective altruism.
Tell me about it.
It's I guess it's a sort of philosophical theory. It's like a movement within philosophy of people who are trying to do the most good with like the least resources, or like taking the resources they have and trying to do the most with those.
Yes.
So you were saying there's only so much, like we're in a world where we have to turn a blind eye to a lot of things, and we choose what our passions are, we go after those. But what about?
Or maybe the passions choose us, because I didn't even know that this mattered to me until I saw these things. I mean, look, how much do you think it cost me to tote this sign around? It's just travel costs, and this I've been doing for 30 years. I'm more passionate about ever. And I still feel like young people in particular, their wisdom, they have incredible founts of wisdom, is being left out of the equation. And so
And you learn a lot from speaking
I
to young
learn
people.
so much. And so I want them to have more say in things that especially matters that most affect them. And so
And in terms of what you were saying about having statewide
look, she's going Socratic on me.
statewide vote for people under the age of 18.
Statewide, I want them to have I want the federal elections.
Okay,
I want
federal,
them lower.
federal level.
It's all arbitrary.
Okay.
I want it
certain
lower.
Issues,
all
not
right.
on.
So right now it's 18. It used to be 21.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now you can serve in the military, and you're not old enough to buy a beer. Its age is 21.
You can have a gun, you can drive a car.
But you can't buy a beer. You can put your life on the line for your country. Now, I don't drink, but that's not the issue. They're expected to do things most of us wouldn't do, and yet they're not treated like full adults.